Well, hard to believe that it is week 8 already. This is the halfway point of the semester, and you're 4 weeks away now from turning in your very first draft for peer review of your paper. So the pedal, of course, has already hit the metal. I've reviewed all your thesis statements, and the grade indicates how pleased I am, or not pleased I am, with your thesis statement in terms of how close I think you are to a good focus and how close I think you are to a really workable thesis statement, okay? So please read my comments. I've tried to give you some instruction on that, all right? Bottom line at this point is the thesis statement, you're not at the position where you're really going to polish it. This is more of an exercise for me to see if you've got some focus in mind to your paper, to see if you have enough skills yet to write a thesis statement. If I kind of made any pejorative comments, it means you really need to go back through the last couple of learning modules, look at what a thesis statement is, make sure you read the Purdue website about thesis statements, make sure you look at the textbook again, that kind of thing. So basically the grade indicates how close I think you are to a good tight focus and how close I think you are to a well-constructed thesis statement. This is not locked in stone at this point, okay? As I said, this is an exercise for you, all right? And it's also a chance for me to kind of check in with you, kind of give you some feedback on how I think you're doing. So just consider this an exercise and move on from this point. It's pretty common that if you've got your focus in view, all right, that you can actually write the paper and then come back and jigger your thesis statement all you want, okay? That basically the thesis statement needs to roadmap your paper. It needs to unfold. It needs to show the reader how the paper is going to unfold. A, B, C, okay? You know, because of this, these consequences are A, B, and C. That's your argument. Then your paper unfolds exactly the same way, A, B, and C. And so you can do this really in reverse. You can write the paper, see what it says, see what you proved, see what you can conclude, and then go back and write the introduction and the thesis statement to match the paper. As long as you're focused in the paper and don't wander back and forth or wander around in circles, it doesn't really matter what your organization is as long as it's logical, all right, and as long as it stays focused. Focus means not wandering off to other topics, not circling around a topic, and not repeating a topic. That's what good organization is. So once you get the organization down and you see what you concluded, then you can go back and write your intro and your thesis statement. So you don't have to do it any particular way. So I'd say right now just kind of relax and let's move on to the next project, the next really big project. Next couple of projects are really large and are critical to success in the course, and I have no tolerance for late papers at this point in the course, okay? What you're doing next is an annotated bibliography, and I do teach this in 131. If you've not done it before, it's difficult. All right, annotations are basically summaries, and these summaries are for you. They're not for me. They show you personally that you've read the article, understand the article, and what the highlights of the article are. Now, summary means short, 2 or 3 paragraphs, but it's not a sentence. It's not 2 sentences. It's not 1 paragraph. I'm expecting 2 or 3 paragraph summaries. I'm also expecting an introductory statement at the very top of your annotated bibliography about what your paper is going to be about what you're going to try to show or prove or argue. So I need an introductory statement to orient me and orient you to see how well your focus is at this point towards what you're going to say. And I will be grading that introductory statement as to if I think you're focused or not, as if I think you wrote a good introductory statement. So that's critical. Do not overlook the introductory statement. All right. And then the second element of an annotated bibliography is having correctly done citations. That's difficult. Okay. I've referred you to material about that already. And then after that, the third element is having good annotations. And I just mentioned what the annotations are. And of course, the fourth element is having good research. This gives me a chance to look at your research, and I can let you know if I think this is quality research or not. So I'm really judging this on several levels: the quality of the introductory statement, the accuracy of the citations, the quality and cognitive development of the summaries, and the quality themselves of these articles. Are these indeed academic articles? Okay. So that said, it's a big project. It needs to look nice. It needs to be properly spaced. It needs to be have the header and all that kind of stuff. It needs to have the hanging indents. So please make sure you know how to do all those things. So that said, there are a couple discussions this week, basically for more critical thinking. Okay, I'd like to see your commentary about global warming, and I'd like to see some commentary about research. There's something really kind of cool coming up. There's the reading this week. It's an essay by Linda Tompkins. It's a very, very academic essay. I guarantee you it's the most difficult essay you've ever read in college by this point. It's a fabulous essay. You'll probably have to read it 2 times. It's long. It's not short. Okay? And in your learning diary, you're going to be writing extensively about this, and I will be looking at that because this is critical that you understand what Linda Tompkins is trying to get at, okay? And it's not obvious on first reading. You kind of have to think it through twice, read it through twice, say, aha, the light doesn't come on during the first reading generally. It comes on during the second reading. And I have multiple purposes to introducing you to this reading, is that learning occurs at the difficult spots in your life, both in your personal life, your professional life, your business life, your school life. Learning comes at the hard spots, not at the easy spots, okay? So that's why I give you this hard essay. And she teaches you something brilliant. If you get to it and can get it finally, it's not rocket science, okay? It's just kind of relaxing your mind, reading it twice, all right, saying, aha, I've got it finally, okay? It's not hidden, it's not a secret or anything like that. It's not a quiz, okay? But I want you to tell me in your learning diary, what is she getting at, all right? I want a very thorough summary. I say 5 to 8 paragraphs, what you think you've learned about the research process. This essay teaches you about the research process, but she teaches it indirectly, all right? So it's a critical reading exercise. How do you learn to read critically, okay? And it really opens your mind to the whole, I don't know, it really opens up your mind to the entire political world that we're in now. All this commentary that you hear from different people about different issues, particularly healthcare issue, that kind of thing, this really opens your mind to how all that's working, all right? And so I think this reading actually makes you a better citizen, all right, a better human being once you get it, all right? And it makes you a better reader, okay? So you only learn to read by reading. You only learn to write by writing. So that's pretty much the week. It's a busy week. It's already Wednesday, okay? So dig in. I need the annotated bibs in on time, all right? And you need to step up to the plate, be working hard. There's just 4 weeks until you turn in your first draft, so that's a compressed time now. And the upcoming projects are more difficult than the previous project. So if you have questions, email me. I think you'll enjoy this particular week, though. Good luck.